Good evening. Tri-coloreds with honey mustards, maybe stained on your chin. Welcome back to the Truth Hour with old Harold Richards, your friend. We're live. It's a good night. Good night to be alive. Welcome to all of you. Hope you're feeling good. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm a little thirsty. This evening is a tribute to Dave Chappelle. I got a little clip of him here, doing his thing, dancing around. Um, this is the latest clip that I could find. I didn't deep dive research. I never do that. Haven't yet, anyways. But this is my deep dive of, or not a deep dive, but the last time I saw him like actually being funny. Back in the day. Um, he used to joke about, I don't know, anything. He used to have jokes. He don't have jokes no more. What happened? Where'd he go? Is he a clone? Did they replace him? Did he have a mental breakdown? I don't know. But I'm here to talk about it. Normally, I want this to be a more broad subject or whatever, but this is just the thing that caught my attention. Dave has a new special. Go watch it. Check it out. It's on Netflix. And I don't know. For me, it was hard to watch. I guess he's had a couple on Netflix, and I feel like I've tried watching them, and they just weren't that great. So sad stuff. So Dave Chappelle, what happened to him? He was a young comic. Started when he was in his teens, I believe in D.C. I think that's where he's from. Brilliant talent. You know, it takes a lot of guts to get up on stage and be funny, have jokes that's relevant to the. Actually, it might be easier when you're a kid. Now that I think about it, because first of all, when you're a kid, I mean, kids say funny shit, right? I mean, Bill Cosby proved that. Not by raping them, no. I mean, maybe, I don't know. But no, he had a show I think they did called Kids Say the Most Tabulous Fucking Crazy Out There Goddamn Fucking Things. I think that's the name of the show. Anyways, it's true. I was there once. You probably were too. Yeah, started off as a kid. Again, I didn't look any of this up. This is just based on my just what I know as being a fan of the guy, funny dude. I've seen some interviews and stuff. Um, yeah, he was awesome. He was known to be the type of person that would just go out on the street corner, throw out a hat. People throw dollar bills in there. Ha ha ha, real funny, real cool guy. I mean, he can work a crowd. He can work a crowd. I'm not selling it very well because it's late here. I'm tired. But yeah, Dave. Yeah, he was legit. Uh, Worked his way up. You know, doing stand up, performing. I don't know where he got his first big break, but he got it relatively young. I think I saw him. I watched The Nutty Professor a couple weeks ago. Eddie Murphy, which by the way, what the fuck happened to Eddie Murphy? Goddamn, that might be another Truth Hour episode to look up. I don't know what happened to Eddie Murphy. I heard he's kind of off doing his own thing these days. But yeah, this is a tribute. Dave Chappelle, awesome talent, awesome guy. Oh, looks like we got someone joining us. We got a viewer already. What's up, viewer? How you doing? I got it on a share screen right now, so if I want to see the comments, I gotta like click back over. But I got this on mute anyways. Like I said, I was just saying, this is for me one of my favorite um, bits that maybe not bit, but one of his last acts that Dave Chappelle did that I thought was actually funny. It's from February 27th, 2009. Actually, I haven't watched the whole thing, but I started watching it and it was fucking awesome. And it's unlike anything that his new stuff has been like. So I thought it would be appropriate to put it on here because it was after his show, after he got to find himself or whatever, and he's still funny, he's still doing this before he gets like all up into himself. And I guess that's my issue is he used to be like this you know real funny guy, real likable. I mean, look at him, he's moving around, he's animated, uh, he's involved with people, he cares what other people think about. Um, he's having fun. He's having a good time. And if you look at all of his new stuff, he's not having a good time. He's not having fun. Just kind of preaching to people, complaining about stuff. Yo, what up, girl? I'm live on the Truth Hour.
Is there anybody watching?
Yep.
What are you talking about?
Dave Chappelle.
Talking about how he's a clone?
Yeah. So Panda here thinks that Dave Chappelle's a clone.
No, that's not what I think.
What's that?
I do not think he's a clone.
All right, y'all. It looks like we got a special guest joining us this evening.
No.
So this is Panda Richards that wants to sit in with us. She's under the impression that Dave Chappelle was killed off and is a clone,
That's the opposite of what I think.
which I don't think is all that crazy, actually.
That's not what I think. I think he had a nervous breakdown.
Some people maybe think that he had like a nervous breakdown,
That's what Panda Richards thinks.
but Panda is obviously under the impression that he was killed off and was made a clone. And the clone was promised, a bunch of money and fame or, whatever. They're like, fuck it, dude, you're a clone.
No.
Go kill Dave Chappelle and you can replace him. We'll give you all the money. And that's why he's different. That's why he acts different.
No.
He don't look the same. He's all, I mean, look at this guy. Look, this is after he went to this video I have here. This is after he went to Africa or whatever.
No.
And he's still like, look, he's still like animated and talking and moving.
He doesn't seem all that animated to me.
Oh, he is, man. He was just up like moving around and stuff. This new Dave Chappelle, he just puts his fucking foot up on a speaker. I know you think he's a clone, baby, but like I'm trying to tell you, like there might be something else to this. It's rough, man. So I think we've established that Dave Chappelle is a clone.
No, he's not.
They killed him. It was the fucking Illuminati or whatever. Like I said, I got it on split screen, so I see we got some viewers here. So if you guys want to chime in, let me know what you think about Dave. Have y'all seen his new special? Do you have any thoughts about it? I was just saying how I think it's kind of sad to watch. No offense to Dave. I love Dave Chappelle. I love the past work that he's done. He seems like a great human being. If anything, I just
do you love his clone?
I don't know.
Which one is it? You have to make a choice.
Well, you're the one that thinks that he's the clone. So okay, well, are you gonna join me or not? Because you're in.
I
Or
have to
out?
get my e-cig.
All right, y'all. We got a special guest. Her name is Panda Richards. She is under the impression that Dave Chappelle was killed and replaced with a clone. Panda, what have you to say about yourself?
I just woke up. Dave Chappelle is not a clone.
Oh, he's not a clone. You've changed your tune real quick.
I didn't change my tune.
Okay.
No, Dave Chappelle isn't a clone.
He's not a clone.
He's not a clone.
You don't think so?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Explain yourself, would you?
Yeah, I think he had some, with the Chappelle show, had a nervous breakdown, quit everything, went away for a while, came back, fucked up. His last 3 specials sucked. God, get off of it. get back to writing jokes again and stop defending yourself for having offended a certain group of people. He's not a fucking clone.
Yeah.
He's not a clone.
Tell me more.
That's it.
That's it?
The guy had a nervous breakdown. He's rich as fuck. Now he's stuck on some, you know.
Like a desert island?
Yeah, he's the island. He's stuck on his own desert island.
Did you close the video?
No, I just minimized it.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah, man, he's there.
yeah. I mean, Dave Chappelle's the same. People change looks. Again,
He didn't just change
had a
looks.
full-on breakdown.
He didn't just
moved
change
to
looks.
Africa.
Dude,
I had a nervous breakdown, and definitely, trust me, I was different sounding, acting, and looking afterwards.
Dude, I've had like 20 nervous breakdowns. I'm not impressed. I'm in one right now.
I'm sorry.
That's all good. I've learned to enjoy these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make you stronger.
Hey.
What?
Go ahead.
It's just juice, right? No? What else is in here?
I added the rest of that coconut rum.
Oh, shit.
That's mean. So yeah, Dave Chappelle, not a clone. He had a nervous breakdown.
Okay. What do you people think? Dave Chappelle? Is he a clone?
One thing's for sure, he's not as fucking funny as he used to be.
Yeah, he's all like...
If he could go back to fucking funny Dave Chappelle, that would be great, but, you know.
There's no going back. Once you've been cloned and replaced, like, that's it. I mean, we all know the sad story. There's
God, I look like shit.
No, you look good. You're cute. You got your leave me alone hat on.
It's not.
It's adorable.
No, I look like a sad troll.
You look like a sleepy panda. In the best sense of the term. I mean, your name is Panda. I mean, come on. That's good.
And
That's
I
a good
am
one.
sleepy.
She's a sleepy panda. So yeah, y'all, this is Panda Richards. I'm Harold Richards, like I said earlier. Yeah, we're out here, we're doing it. You guys there? I see some viewers. You guys want to talk to us? You want to say some stuff, or you just want to watch us ramble? That's fine. We'll ramble. All right, so the first thing we ought to do is, who's the rambling man?
I don't know, like Leonard Skinner or something. I'm probably not long for this world.
Yeah, probably so. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to look up is David Chappelle is a clone.
God damn it.
And I don't think a whole lot of stuff is going to pop up.
Yeah.
Which to me is suspicious. That means they buried this shit deep.
If you fucking Googled Panda Richards is a clone, nothing's gonna pop up either.
You think so?
Probably.
I don't know. I wouldn't judge you if you were. Look at him. He is way more animated in this than in that fucking shit that he did.
Alright, it's 2021. Take me in 2011. I was way more animated too. Listen,
That's 2009.
2009?
You're pretty animated right now. You're like engaging.
No, if
you're
you
talking.
saw me in
you're moving
2011,
around
if
and
you saw me in
stuff.
2011,
You're like a real person. That person that I saw in the special that we just watched is not a real person.
yeah, because Hollywood made him a shell of a human.
That's what. Okay, that is the premise of this episode.
They didn't clone him. They scooped the insides out and left him a shell of a human who's still fucking funny, but inartful. He just isn't in the same way. If you took me at 2011 and you looked at me now, you'd be like, she's way more fucking funny. She's way more fucking animated. She's way more cute. She looks a lot different. She's fucking skinny. Oh my god, she's so fucking awesome. Like,
this is
versus
all
no.
just shit that's in women's head, man. That's just
That's just the truth. Like, it is the truth. Like, I used to go out way more. I was way more animated. I was way funnier. Like,
I don't think I would have liked you back then.
You probably wouldn't have.
You would have been way too much.
Hey.
Yeah, but you
It's an
did,
acquired taste.
but you you did say, well, you know, what they say about fine wines.
Yeah, I'm aging more like a whiskey.
Can I try your juice there? Another little sippy. I share my vodka with you.
But yeah, I don't. I just think that he got fucking beat down, and he's still funny. He can still craft a good story for sure. I mean, it all was poignant and good, but it's just
I don't even think he's even crafting stories at this point. He's just saying things that I went to a bar one time and this is what happened. Like
no.
that's not crafting a story. Like that story that we watched with him with the homeless man that hijacked a bus, that's a crafted story. Or the guy it's the skit or it's the joke they did where the guy is like jerking off on the bus and he holds the bus hostage and he's like, "Yo, look out!" I can't do it justice because I'm not fucking Dave Chappelle, but it's fucking great and it's something that probably didn't happen, or maybe he's what probably happened is he like saw a guy jerking off on a bus. He probably wasn't even on that bus, and he thought, "Oh shit, I bet those people were like freaking out on that bus," and then he constructed this whole fucking story around it. He doesn't do shit like that anymore. What he does now is he complains about being recognized in public and fucking how he's hated by the transgender community and like real life stories that he might
Uh,
exaggerate a little bit
he
on.
needs to get the fuck over that one.
Yeah, he needs to get over fucking
It does,
himself.
like having a whole special about it 3 times in a row is it's like a cry for attention or help. I don't know. I love Dave Chappelle,
He's
but
running out of shit is what it is. I don't think it's a cry for anything. I think it's that's the life that he lives, man. He lives in a fucking he's trying to get out there more, you know, because he's back or whatever. He's trying to. I guess I'm assuming he moved to Texas because he kept talking about Texas, and Joe Rogan moved out
yeah,
to
he lives in
Texas.
Ohio.
Oh yeah, well he probably hangs out in Texas a lot. He probably got like a second house
He
down
can
there or
hang out
something.
wherever the fuck he wants, but
He can, but he spent a lot of time in Texas, like all the comedians are doing these days. That's like the place to be.
I heard Tesla just moved. I think a new manufacturing. I didn't read the whole
Yeah,
article.
LA's out. No, LA's
LA's
done.
out, and
Yeah,
then like apparently Texas is. I mean, we've all known
Texas
that
is
for a
in.
long time, but
Yeah.
then it was announced yesterday or day before yesterday, day before, depending on the time. But that Elon Musk is moving. I think himself in one manufacturing facility. I think to Austin, where all the celebrities and like it's.
Yeah, well, they have a Mars base out there,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like a simulated base
I have heard
that would be
that.
on Mars. So
I
yeah,
have not looked into it.
that's been a long time coming. And Joe Rogan led the whole fucking parade out there. So
Oh
Texas,
God! Well, he's
Texas
the fucking
is
ringleader of all of them.
yeah. So Texas is the new fucking and including Chappelle. Chappelle fucking tours with Rogan. They're all in the same fucking club. And honestly, I go as far as to say, if Chappelle's a fucking clone, then Joe Rogan's probably goddamn clone as well. Or either that he is probably bought out, and Chappelle maybe as well. But like, whether they're literally have been killed and murdered and replaced with clones, or their souls have been emptied out by the fucking powers that be of
Well,
Hollywood
I
and
meant that more
fucking
like metaphorically than like physically. I just meant like being in Hollywood and being under that high pressure,
sure.
having contracts like that, having all like, all of that is soul emptying stuff. Not necessarily that it was like an ice cream scoop where you're just like, I just meant like that is like a soul sucking thing to do,
Well, that shit can become real
and
because your mentality kind of creates your reality
sure.
in a way,
Yeah,
and
and
that can fucking happen.
I mean,
That there
he's
are
changed for sure. Is he a clone? No. Has he changed? Yes. Is it due to Hollywood pressure and pressure from networks and pressure from contracts and just fame in general? Yeah, I mean,
a great example of this is the
Olsen
Oprah
twins. What?
the Oprah interview that he did back in 2006. So it was after he quit his show and went to Africa and all that stuff. And he goes on to Oprah, and it's awesome. It's on YouTube. You should watch it. Well, actually, it's not awesome. It's kind of sad to watch. First of all, Oprah is a fucking corporate stooge, like all the way. And even the way she guides the interview is like very like
That's her job.
it's very
That's
They're not vibing. It does not go particular. I mean, they smooth it over well because Dave Chappelle is all about black empowerment, and who better as a speaker of black empowerment than fucking Oprah. So he is respectful as shit throughout the whole thing. But she keeps fucking like jabbing him. She's like, "Is it true? Are you crazy? Like, are you actually crazy? Do you go to fucking Africa and like fucking go to a mental asylum?" And he's like, "Since when, Oprah, did anyone go to Africa for medical treatment?" It was a joke. It's fucking hilarious. He was funny back then. He used to
well,
fucking say shit like that. And
I mean,
she was even
he should have been a little smarter than to go up against Oprah, who was the
he didn't go against her.
not against her, but like if you're in an interview with her,
She was against him.
and she's, I mean, I can't say anything because I'm white, but like,
Well, also you
you've
haven't
all-
you haven't watched the interview.
no, but
So the whole interview, she's just jabbing him, and
that's what people in that profession do.
like, man, he's walking around, he's fucking talking to people and stuff. He was alive. He was fucking, and this is after his fucking breakdown, fucking all that shit, man. Like, this is not the same fucking Dave Chappelle that we just watched.
I mean,
This is a fucking completely different person.
again,
He's doing something that
it's a long time ago. People change.
it's not that long ago, man.
Life changes you.
It does, but
Fame changes you.
like, man, I've changed a lot in 11 years, but I never changed like that. I didn't turn to a. I mean, we're all different people in different aspects or whatever, but like, this is different, man. This is something that's like you said, maybe it was a breakdown or whatever, but this is after his breakdown. So to say that he's broken down since then, what would make him break down then? But anyways, we're getting off topic. Oprah kept fucking jabbing him and being like, "Well, why?" She kept being like, "So is it true? Like you gave it up for like the money or fame?" He's like, "No, like I love the money and I love the fame. Like I fucking love when we walked on the show, he got like a standing ovation. He's like, "This is awesome. I'm back on TV. Like hell yeah." And he was like, "No, it was the Hollywood fucking machine that was twisting him and turning him, and people on set just being really fucking weird, and the studio being really weird and trying to renegotiate his contract, and it just turned into like this really hostile, like
Yeah.
awful environment. Not only where he worked, but like everyone around him. Especially when you're making that kind of money for the first time, because that's when he really like was blowing up. Everyone wants a piece, so you can't trust anybody.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been in that situation before, and I imagine that it would be hard to handle.
What are you talking about? You're a part of international A1 fucking pop sensation A1. We handle it well. We try not to talk about it too much. But and I don't feel like it really affects us all that much.
yeah, definitely not. I mean,
we
we're just, some people are stronger.
I mean, we break down every now and then. Like we got our issues
Yeah.
and stuff.
Mhm.
It's not easy being international pop icon sensation,
Yeah, it's the struggles. But I mean,
but I feel like we do pretty well. And,
Alright.
and
I gotta sign off. I'm tired. Dave Chappelle isn't a clone.
you heard it here first. Panda Richards said Dave Chappelle is a clone.
No. No. Alright. I love you.
I love you too, baby. Hope you have some sweet dreams of old Dave Chappelle.
You.
All right, Panda Richards has signed off. For now, she'll be back. She'll be back. She always comes back.
Jeez. Hey, is that phone over there?
So, what do you people think? What up, people? How about some dialogue? So there's plenty more on that. I haven't even scratched the surface on this thing. Go watch that Oprah interview. It's it's crazy. It's crazy to watch. Even watching Oprah, like she's not like actively attacking him, but she's not on his side. And like I said, Dave does a really good job of being polite and cordial and, trying to, explain himself, even though he doesn't fucking have to explain himself to anybody. I mean, he chose to go on the show, kind of, I guess, in a way to clear his name. But I don't know. It's kind of fucked up to watch. Dave's out there just trying to, explain himself and his situation, and Oprah's just being like, "Well, why? Well, then why'd you do this, or why'd you do that, or that?" Or he'll like say something. It just contradicts a lot of things that he says. She's not in his corner. I mean, she does it in a way because she's fucking Oprah, you know. So she's very political, or very. That might not be the right word, but she's very. She knows how to choose her words, and so she's not like openly attacking him, but she just throws in these little fucking jabs, and
That's her job. She's there to interview people.
so I pulled up this interesting Reddit thread. Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle. Is he a clown or clone? By Cum Rager Ragger. Oh, and this is under the Reddit thread Dave Chappelle, which I didn't know was a thing. And basically it says he's trying to tell the story of his murder and his death. They cloned Dave shortly after his Oprah interview, which I don't necessarily believe that because we're actually watching something from 2009, and this looks like real Dave. So to say shortly after would be at least 3 years after. Um, Again, I pulled up this particular clip as a tribute to Dave because respect to him and the work that he's done. And I'm not trying to attack him. I think he's awesome, funny dude. Like I'm not like it's not like that. I'm just sad to see him, in the state that he's in currently. So I'm trying to figure out, what happened to Dave Chappelle. Anyways, they say that he died not too long after his Oprah interview, which I disagree with that right off the bat. But the new Dave was forced to kill the old Dave and forever keep the secret in order to make the millions of dollars they originally had planned for him in the first place. Because only after he completes this horrific deed will he be rewarded with life. The Dave Chappelle that you see today is not the same Dave we all grew to love. He looks different, he acts different, his comic routines are completely the opposite of what he was accustomed to doing in the past. He quite often uses the word N word. I urge you to open your eyes to the fact that the powers that be will go to great lengths to achieve their agenda and their bottom line. This also doesn't end with a single person. He mentions Gucci Mane, Kodak Black is a victim of the same fate. There's also like I've noticed personally, I saw an NBA announcer actually glitch on live TV once. I forget his name. I'll look him up. If you mention something in the comments, if you ask me who he is, I'll actually look it up. If not, whatever, look it up yourself. Fuck, I don't care. You won't be able to find it because I tried to look it up after I saw him glitch on live TV, and there was like one guy on Reddit that was like, "Holy shit, did anyone see that?" And that was that, and that just never happened. I'll maybe come back to that later, or maybe another episode. If you don't believe it, just Google Dave Chappelle is a clone and see how little hits actually come up. Also, look up equanimity, which I don't know what that is, and I will look that up right now. I'm curious. Equanimity. Oh, that popped right up. Equanimity is mental calmness, composure, and evenness of temper, especially in a difficult situation. Well, shit, that's my middle name. Harold Equanimity Richards. He's telling you that he has to always have a calm heart and mind during these extremely stressful situations. He gives us subtle clues. Lastly, check out his Netflix advertisement video. This is from a year ago, narrated by Morgan Freeman with the context of all that you learned in this reply. It'll blow your mind. Thanks for the read. God bless. Well, I want to look that up. Morgan Freeman, Dave Chappelle. Let's see what happens there. I think this is for the closer. And I'll play it on this other laptop here. You're just going to have to listen to it. You can look it up yourself. See what we got.
This is Dave. He tells jokes for a living. Driving down these country roads is a lot like a meditation. He's deep in thought, back in the trance. 5 specials in as many years. How do you close a body of work that profound? I couldn't imagine the enormity of the pressure.
Dave doesn't even look the same.
He looks as if he's about to say something. What could he possibly have left to say?
Will you shut the fuck up, Morgan Freeman?
Sorry. I was just...
It's all right.
Carry on, Dave.
That's cute. I like that. I didn't really see any subliminal shit like that dude was talking about. He said it'll blow your mind. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. There were some comments on this that I thought were really interesting. Um, Apparently, he had a cousin with some highly detailed information that was talking about him being killed and replaced with a clone, like a female cousin. I actually went to the YouTube link for this and it was taken down. So I don't know. I couldn't find it. Maybe I'll look again, but based on my short research I did on that, I couldn't find it. So I don't know. That's suspicious. I don't know. There is one person, and there were, like I said, there's some good comments on here. Grouchy Jello 546 said, I listened to the hour and a half conversation that his cousin said, and man, shit was eerie and pretty detailed, especially because his own cousin was actually close to Dave in real life. Like the cousin wasn't some distant cousin making, shit up for clout. I don't know, man. Here he brings up, or this person brings up a good point. Our technology we have in this day and age is so far advanced, it's mind blowing. The average person couldn't and wouldn't mentally capacitate it. They'd be the first person to say it's impossible, absolutely absurd, or that we're idiots for even thinking cloning is possible. Not to mention, side note from that, deep fakes, videos. I mean, I don't know, man. Brainwashing. Like, there's all sorts of shit that could happen. And again, look at this video that I just pulled up. This is Dave. This is real Dave. This is the Dave Chappelle that we know. And we haven't seen this guy in a really long time. So I don't know if he's actually dead and replaced with a clone or fucking, brainwashed, mind altered, fucking mind control, mental breakdown. I don't know. Again, like this person is saying, nothing is impossible. Nothing. I bet cloning was like a game to some countries, racing to be the first to do it successfully. Just like how there was a race to see what country would be the first person to put the man on the moon, which also I think could have been staged, but that's a whole other story. Presidents and leaders dumped a shit ton of money and time and energy to win that race, and for what? For the bragging rights to say that they did it first. And to the American people's knowledge, they haven't done a fucking thing on the moon, or at least that's what they want us to think. And there's some info on that that's crazy about what's really on the moon and its secrecy, but that's a whole different story. Which I believe that too. We got bases on the moon, we got bases on Mars. We've probably got bases on like the moons of like Saturn and Jupiter, and yeah, we've definitely maybe some asteroids. We're probably mining shit in space already. We're talking about it now, which means that it's probably already been done. I mean, they say that the technology that we don't know about is probably about what, like 50 years ahead of what we actually do know about. Well, I think it's longer than that. So yeah, that's happening. Of course, they wouldn't tell us about it. We're just a bunch of dumb fucking people that just fucking can't even fucking agree about what bathrooms to use, or fucking, I don't know, man. We're so divided. We don't even fucking know what's going on. It doesn't even matter anymore. But they've been cloning animals. We know that, plants and humans, for longer than you would probably think. So for anyone to think that there's zero chance that cloning is possible, you're wrong. Another comment says, I don't know if you know, but recently there was a very real looking robot. I think it's just called AI. You can go on YouTube and there's a podcast called the Miller Hire Podcast. They do top work on conspiracy theories. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to look into that. Check them out when you have the time. There's some talk, can't remember where, but the government has a ton of money with shit that we've never seen, like a heart attack gun and cloning. They started cloning around the World War era, and look how far we've come with front-facing 4K cameras and phones. The conversation seemed very real with Dave's cousin, Dave's antics recently with him not getting money from Netflix, and I believe other stuff makes sense otherwise. I was watching his interviews before and after he was cloned. He genuinely seemed like a really humble, funny guy, and now currently seems to be self-dismantling in his own image. Exactly what his cousin was saying. For one, when I see genuine good people like Dave, it's really humbling. I think cloning takes like under 5 minutes in 2020. What's the name of that podcast? Miller Hire Podcast.
All right. I'm going to bed.
Okay. Thought you went to bed already. Okay. Well, welcome back. Good to see you again. Good night. Panda wanted to come back to say goodbye to all you peoples. She loves you that much.
Cran raspberry. It's the way to go.
You heard that, Ocean Spray? Give us some money.
Official sponsor of the Truth Hour.
Yeah, send us some fucking cran grape. Or cran raz.
Alright, I have to go to bed.
We lost a viewer. Right when that happened.
Over the cran raz?
Yeah.
Fuck them! They don't have good taste. This shit's good.
Whatever, dude. They're like, these people sold out. They're not legit.
Whatever.
Whatever. Your loss.
It's not my fault you have bad taste.
Or is it?
Fuck the police. Love you.
Love you too, baby. Next comment, miss you, real Dave. This clone is crappy. Next comment, he's totally cloned. The new Dave Chappelle is not even funny.
Are these your comments?
No, doesn't even have the same voice. No, this is from Levitcherub.
Oh.
Doesn't have the same voice and doesn't look the same. He did reference something in his last special. I don't remember exactly what it was off the top of my head because it was hard to watch and it was hard to even pay attention to. But he did have a little jab in there that suggested that he's not who he is, and that shit is, or maybe not who he is, but that he might be like under the influence of somebody, something, organization. I don't know. Some wild shit, man. Um, I would say watch the special and find out for yourself, but honestly, like I said, it was hard to watch for me, and I really don't want to condone that kind of. It's not like that bad. It's just it's all about you know it's all about himself and how hard it is to be Dave Chappelle and how he walked away from all this money long ago and how I hate trans people but I love trans people and da 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 and it's just like this thing. um I don't know. There are a couple little zingers in there that were kind of funny, but in general, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. And as you can see with this video over here, with Dave Chappelle fucking going around and fucking walking and talking and being animated and laughing and being real, no, you don't get any of that. You get little glimmers of maybe what used to be, but he's gone, man. He's gone. Another comment under here. I think what sets Dave aside from other comics is that he tells edgy jokes. This is from Maple Garlic. And that he shrugs off criticism by writing new edgy jokes. Well, that's what it used to be like, anyways. That does not current Dave. He's scandal resistant, using his talent to frame his explanations into new material. So his material definitely changes over time, like any growing writer, so does his approach, as he rolls with the punches. And I think his satire is valuable to an American democracy, and therefore someone could profit from his loss of credibility. I'm intrigued by this theory, but I think there's a more obvious explanation. Would love to see more evidence, but it's true. Googling returns few results. Yeah, and that's really it for all that one. Let's go back. So that's just one Reddit thread. Big whoop. Whatever. Is this a video? I don't want to watch a video right now. Unless it's there. Apparently, there's a video out there. I think it's about an hour and a half long, where his cousin talks about how he was killed off in clone, like a cousin he was close with. If this is it, I'll save it and I'll watch it and I'll come back and tell you guys about it. Right now, it's just fucking commercials. Dave Chappelle is a clone. Dave has changed. Dave Chappelle. So this is from 2017. Oh yeah. Okay, so that video is just I'm not gonna do a video right now of that. Yep, someone else says something happened to Dave Chappelle after he went on Oprah Winfrey show years ago, and he talked about how he was asked to wear a dress by some executives as a humiliation ritual. Again, we're watching a video from 2009. That video was 2006, so I think people have their timeline messed up here. But I think the point remains the same. It was maybe not directly after that, but there was a change at some point. And I'll try to nail down the exact date and time if there is one. Probably be hard to do, but this is the truth hour. We do that kind of shit. What exactly happened, I don't know, but he's changed. He looks a lot different, not just his body, but his face and his eyes look way different. He's always wearing sunglasses, even indoors, acts differently. He's not anywhere as funny, true. Maybe he was MK Ultra. That's kind of something I'm thinking of. Maybe not like in that program exactly, but maybe something similar, or something is what he says. Some people think he was cloned. I personally think that's far fetched, but he just doesn't seem like the same person. Stayed out of the spotlight for many years after quitting Chappelle Show, going to Africa. Kind of reminds me of how Kanye West disappeared after his rant about Hillary and Trump and how the media lies to people. Ever since then, we haven't heard much from him. Here's an interview about Dave, allegedly from his cousin. Oh, there's a link. Let's see if this one works. This link has been hard to find. Oh, sweet.
What up, family? So, today I got some very sad news. So Dave Chappelle's cousin is saying that Dave Chappelle is cloned. Now, there's a lot of different artists and different stuff like that I believe are cloned. But this story right here is the first one where somebody's actual family member actually came out and just told everybody that they believe their family member, Dave Chappelle, is cloned. That this is a hour and a half video, and I really believe this is true. I believe a lot of people are cloned, and we really need to do something about this. This is not a joke or a laughing matter or anything to be desensitized about. These are real people who just wanted to be artists and spread the talent that they got, that God gave them. And because people want to control the people through these people, now these people is dead, that they done killed their whole family and cloned them just so they can make money off of them. And it is very sickening and nasty and just, it's just trifling. So I want you to check this video out. Somehow, some way, all of us got to figure out some way to stop this. There's billions of us, probably trillions of us on this planet, and we can do something about it if we truly try to. It's supposed to be on the underground. It's somewhere underneath the planet, somewhere where they're cloning these people. I don't know. Somehow, some way, we got to do something to stop this. So anyway, want to watch this video, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.
Fight the power,
Hi,
y'all.
welcome to the JT Anti-New World Order Movement. You're here with Camille and myself, Katrina, and Billy. Say hi.
Hi, I'm here. Billy is here.
And we're going to, we finally do have our guests we were have been hoping to talk to. We finally have her here to talk with us. She is she wishes to go by the #1 original Negan's girl, and she is the family member, the first cousin of actor and comedian Dave Chappelle. And she is here to regale us with the facts regarding what happened to Dave Chappelle from the time that he walked away from his Comedy Central show to now. But she wishes to have her voice remain anonymous, so her voice would be distorted to keep her anonymity. So we have her here, and without further ado, Negan's girl, the mic is yours.
I would like to talk about someone who was very dear to me. And some of you know who he is. Some of you have laughed at his comedy.
Okay, so it's an hour and a half. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Or should I just play the whole thing? I'm about to say, fuck it, let's go. Yeah, I mean, shit, that's what we're here for, isn't it? I'll link it. There's another video, as well. Yeah. I don't know. Something's changed with the guy. It's really sad. He's not who he was. And again, we all change through life and stuff. So, and I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm certainly no expert. I'm just a guy. I got my own opinions. I had never met Dave Chappelle. I don't know him. Never did. Never will. Um, I'm just skeptical, and I just kind of want to know what's going on. I'm curious. I like to dig into shit. This guy dancing around here doing his act and everything. That's the Dave that I knew and loved, whatever. Um, Not because he's dancing, entertaining you, but because he's up there having a good time, man. He's laughing, man. He's killing it, and that's like a 3 hour set, 227 a night. So go watch that. All right, fuck it, man. Let's listen to this interview. I'm gonna clock out, so I'll let y'all end on this. Harold Richards out. Dave Chappelle, was he killed and replaced with a clone? Let's find out.
Some of you have gone to shows and have fallen out of your seats, or your chairs, or what have you, because of the comedy that he gave you. And that person is my cousin, David Chappelle. David Chappelle and I were first cousins. And I'm not going to continue saying David Chappelle. I'm going to use his first name because I've already introduced him and I as cousins, first cousins. And we are the Chappelles. Okay. David and I, we were very, very close. There were times when David and I would talk. I had his cell phone number, and he had mine, and we would talk for hours on end. There was nothing that David would not or could not tell me, and vice versa with me to him. I mean, David had lots of Chappelle family members, and he had lots of cousins. But but somehow or another, David and I, we became very close as family, cousin members. And, and we just felt comfortable around each other. David was my yin and I was his yang, or vice versa, as you want to put it, but we were very close. Okay, David was married to his wife Elaine, as some of you all may know, she was a Filipino. She is a Filipino, and his mother's name was, we called her Auntie Vaughn, and he has a brother. His brother is named after David's father, William. He's a junior, and then David has a sister whose name is Felicia, and she is a full practicing Muslim. Well, David was he was a Muslim as well. And David him and his wife Elaine has two sons along with a daughter, and their names, I'm not going to give you out their names, but they have names of Muslims. So now, that's the initial concept of what I'm going to, what I've said about the relationship that David and I have had together. Okay, now David loved his wife. He loved Elaine. He loved Elaine very much, and he loved his mother, especially after his father had died, because his mother was the only thing that he had that he could cherish at that time, and even today. And so he loved his wife, he loved his mother, and most of all, David loved his family, and he loved the farm. And as some of you may know, he has a farm in Delaware Springs, Ohio, and he has a special name for that farm, which I'm not going to discuss about, but he calls that farm a certain name. Now, and David, and on that farm is acres and acres of land. And I'm telling you, David was a responsible person when it came to his wife, his children, his mother, his family, and particular their farm. Okay, as some of you may know, David had the Chappelle comedy show, and David was doing good on that show. I mean, he was doing great. And David loved that show. David has always loved to make people laugh. And, I mean, laugh sometimes until your stomach hurts or tears come out your eyes. He was very, very funny. And David has always been a funny type person ever since the time he was a young boy, much, much younger. And even when he would come to the family reunions, he would always, he would be in the spotlight making the family laugh, just laugh. And this is something that he always wanted to be, a comedian, to make people laugh. The time, David, he is the producer of the Chappelle comedy show, and as I stated before, he was doing fine. He was his mother and the farm, and for the rest of him, he had to take things very serious and take responsibility. When he was called into the executive office, and when he went there, he saw all of these executives and others that were around this table because he thought he was talking to but so he went in to talk to the executive, and they had him around excuse me, like a clock, and he being at the center of as number 12. You know, picture in your mind 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Depend about it with David. You have to sign before you can even in that facility or what have you. So you have to sign on a piece of paper, and especially if they want you there for a long period of time and you are on a states that you are with that company and you're there for that period of time. And that is contract. Well, for David to have his own show, the Chappelle show, even though he was in the contract. Now, some of you are thinking that he signed his name in blood before he died. When he got into the industry, for the entertainment world, to appear on the Chappelle show was a contract stating that the Chappelle show would go on for a certain period of time for that season. You understand what I'm saying? And then, when David went into the office, to the executive office, he had just finished up the second season. Okay? And the executives, as well as, so that's David. They told me he was doing fine on the show. Great, the show was great, David. But except for one exception. And David asked, what? And they told David they wanted him to upgrade, or downgrade, I should say, on the black race. As far as the characters he was portraying, they looked as stupid as he was portraying them. They wanted him to ease up on the black race. They wanted him to make the black race more intellectual. They wanted him to, to quit, just hide in the room. I don't understand what you're talking about. He said, the great. I can't. They said, we're going to make a deal with you. David said, the deal is he gets a deal. They told David, we'll give you $50 million. $50 million if you could come in and do it. And then the torture that they have and the pressure. Well, I accept $50 million from you. What would my fans think? And they said to David, this. When your fans already think that you are a crack addict from the characters that you portray. David, they already think that, that you're a pothead, that you're a drug head. So, it doesn't matter what your fans think, it's what you are willing to accept. And David, can't accept it. And I cannot stop portraying the just like Bernie Mac. Just like any other top he wasn't, because see, David knew that man, and David came from himself trying to make the black race look full white hips and what have you. Well, he did the same thing, well, not the same thing, but he portrayed the comedian, do it all the time. Richard Pryor stood up there and talk about the black race and how they get on this and that and that and that. Having told me when I got to go out of here. I said, David, out of here where? He said, I just have to have my own peace of mind. And I said, well, have you told? He said, well, what about Elaine? He said, well, I'll deal with it right now. I got to go. And later, on the day of going to Africa, his brother William, and I think there was a possibility that it was Neil, and there's a, I told David before, before our conversation, okay, some of you asked, why did he go to Africa? Because David was in Africa because he knew his, because his sister was and is today a practicing Muslim. Now, I want to remind you that when David went to Africa, where he was going, no one knew him because David told me on the telephone, he said, now, cuz when I'm gone, he said, when I'm going, no one knows me. He said, I hope they don't, cuz, I hope they don't. He said, but I'm going there because I realize and I understand that there are Muslims over there. He said, but I don't know them and they don't know me. And so I said, well David, go on and do what you have to do. I said, just let me know when you get back. So that's what David did. He went on, and while David was away, I received phone calls. I don't know whether David's brother William received any phone calls, because David's brother William, him and I, we were not as close as David and I were. Me and David, we were tight boys cousins. And so, but I know I received phone calls asking, have you seen David? Do you know where David is? Even on the street, people would ask me, this David, he's gone there. David Chappelle, he's gone. Do you know where he's at? And I knew where David was, but I could not tell anyone because I told David during our conversation that I would never tell anyone unless he told me to tell them. And he told me on the telephone because I want you to not let anyone know where I'm going. And I reminded him, David, what about Elaine? He said, I'll call Elaine later on. He said, but right now I got to go. So no one knew where David was. No one. Okay. And I knew that after when David had told me about the meeting with the executives, that I felt really good that David got the hell away. David went away to Africa. Stayed there for a while. When David got ready to come back, David called me and said, cuz, I'm back in town. Well, he let his wife know, and everything was fine there. And David, when he called me, he told me, he said, I'm out of the entertainment world. I don't want to do comedy on television anymore. He said, I'm finished with all of that. I'm finished. I said, Dave, are you sure? He said, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with being on television, doing comedy. He said, what I want to go back to is doing comedy at the at the little local comedy places. I said, well, David, are you sure that's what you want? He said, yeah, because he said, I have enough money to take care of my family and my farm and my mother and people in my family. He said, but I just don't want to do any comedy on television. He said, I'm done. And so I'll just do the local comedy at comedy clubs. So I said, okay, David. I said, well, this is what you wanted to put there, David. Once again, I want to ask you, David, did you sign your name in blood before you left when you were in the executives meeting? And so David, because I told you, I didn't sign my name in any, hey, cuz, the only time I signed my name on the contract was to do the Chappelle show. And he said, and I'm done. I'm done with that now. But as far as me signing any other contract, as far as what they say, name and blood, no, I didn't do that. I said, okay, David, that's good. I just want to make sure, this time. So anyway, while talking to David, he gave me a sense of hope. That David was going to be all right because he was finished with this Chappelle show, the comedy show on television, and then he wasn't going to do any more appearance on any other, uh, you know, show. And so it gave me a sense of relief for him. But somehow or another, and I still give a question mark on this Neil Brennan because Neil Brennan spoke some bad words about David, and which I don't like, and David heard about it, and he didn't like it either. And because Neil Brennan was supposed to be one of David's buddies, and for him to say, to make a statement like he did, it was wrong. It was wrong. And I didn't like it, and the rest of the Chappelle family, we didn't like it, they didn't like it, and David didn't like it either. Okay, but they found out somehow that David was back in town and he was doing, comedy at these little local comedy clubs and things like that. And this one person, it was put upon her to find out why David went to Africa. Okay, so now first David went to the inside the actor's studio. He was asked to come and be on the show with the host there, and David was fine. He went on the show, and the questions was asking him, why did he go to Africa, and what went down. And I remember that David told exactly, the same thing that I'm telling you now, that how, that this whole thing was kind of shaking, and he didn't want no parts of it. Then he also went and he told about Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence, they did the same thing to him too. But Martin Lawrence, and no one today, we have not seen Martin Lawrence. No one knows where Martin Lawrence is. Because you know what? Martin Lawrence is dead. I mean, body, soul, spirit, dead. If you ever see a Martin Lawrence come back on the scene, it's because that Martin Lawrence, before they killed him, they made a clone of Martin Lawrence, and they have that clone in waiting. Waiting for what? I don't know. And but no one has seen Martin Lawrence. No one, no one knows anything about Martin Lawrence anymore. But if you ever, and I say to you all who all are listening, if you see Martin Lawrence, then you know that he's a clone. And because they were supposed to, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith was supposed to be, they supposed to have done a film that was supposed to have came out last summer. When the film never did come out, why? Because there was no Martin Lawrence. So, I'm just going to, anyway, just wanted to share that with you. But Dave Chappelle went on stage with, and was in the audience was a group of young people there who were interested in becoming comedians or becoming actors or what have you. And Dave went there to tell them about the business, about the Illuminati, because David felt that what they had said to him in the executive office, he wanted people to know what was going on, just as Martin Lawrence wanted people to know, just as Britney Spears wanted people to know, just as some of the stars here today want people to know about the Illuminati. So that's what David did. David wanted people to know what they were doing to him and what they were all about. So this is what he said on the stage. So he told them, to make sure that that was a sure thing for them to do, to go into, and he warned them, okay? Then the next person, and when I talked to David, I said, David, you should not go there, you should not go there, you should not go there. But David dark circle. He wanted to expose them. And so the next person who invited David on their show was Oprah Winfrey. And Oprah Winfrey, and I told Dave, I said, Dave, please don't go there. He said, no, cuz be all right. He said, but I just want to let people, I want to talk, cuz I want to talk. So I said, okay. So David went on that show. And now, and if you notice or not, when David was on that show, Oprah Winfrey show, Oprah was trying to coach him along and saying to him, what you did, you were stressful, weren't you? And David was saying, no, anybody was under stress of what they said to me in that office, but she wanted David to admit things that were not true with David, that was not going on with David at that time. And if you watch the taping show of Oprah and David, if you notice that David was looking around to make sure that no one else was coming in behind him. David was fearful of even being on the Oprah show. And then another thing, if you take notice or not, when Oprah was talking, David had his hand over his mouth, and like he was saying to himself, Oprah, I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to do. And so, but David was fearful of being on the Oprah Winfrey show. And not only with the appearance that he was making, the gestures, this sort of thing, and the looking around, but when David left the Oprah Winfrey show, I got a phone call. And who was a phone call? None other than David Chappelle. And he told me some things that he speculated of Oprah Winfrey. And I said, David, I told you not to go on that show. I told you not to go on that show. Because Oprah is already into that dark circle. Oprah was the one that ushered Obama into office. And that's one of the reasons why they wanted David to quit on the blacks. Because Oprah ushered him in. Oprah was in favor of Obama getting into office. Oprah was behind Obama, on the side of Obama, and was in front of Obama. She got him into office. And I said, David, I told you not to go on that show. He said, well, I'm done. I'm done. Now, David finally, once and for all, he got to know where Oprah Winfrey was coming from. David didn't trust Oprah Winfrey, and he was glad that the show was over with. And David told me that when he left Oprah Winfrey, he had to keep looking over his shoulder because he didn't trust Oprah. And well, nobody any of us, we know that Oprah is one of the queen bees, dark bees of the Illuminati. And so, I wouldn't trust her. And so, but David felt that it was over. Okay, now, David went home. And things began to happen to David. Leading up to the course of time for him to go back into the executive office. Well, I should say, but that's right. Things again, because now I'm not going to pinpoint the exact time and the exact date, but David was receiving threatening letters. He received a package in the mail. It was Bill Cosby. It was who was another? It was Bill Cosby. It was even Al. That's why I don't like Al Sharpton today. It was Bill Cosby, Al Sharpton. It was Whoopi Goldberg, and it was a few others that was into putting the pressure on David to stop this thing with the black race. Now that was before and it was even afterwards, but they were putting the pressure on him. And so one day, so eventually down the line, David was doing his comedy in the local comedy clubs, but then he got a phone call again. And he said, called me and told me, he said, cuz, what he said to his brother, I don't know. But I do know, David wouldn't, like when David talked to his brother, he wouldn't tell his brother conversation to him, and I had. And because David's brother and him, they were family, but they wasn't like David and I were. And David would, when he called and talked to me, he wouldn't tell me things that he told his brother. And when David called me again, he said, "Cuz they called me again." I said, "Who called you again?" He said, "The executives." And he said, they want to talk to me one more time. And they're thinking about the possibility of me doing the Chappelle show and doing it the way that I want to do it. I want to be, he said, because the only reason why I told them when I talked to them the last time that the only way I would do the Chappelle show again would be if I did it my way. And it would be set up on my terms. And so I received a phone call and they want to talk to me about it. Well, my antennas went up. I said, "David, you be careful there because they could be saying that." He said, "No, I really think they're serious this time, cuz." He said, "Because I made it definite with them. That the only way that he said, I told it on Oprah Winfrey show too, that the only way that I would do Chappelle show again, it would have to be on my terms, my way, and that, and the money that I make, even if it wasn't 50 million, it would have to go to the people. And but it had to be on my terms." So I said, "Okay, David." I said, "Well, you can trust him." David said, "Yeah." David said, "Well, I think I can trust him this time." So I said, "Well, David, whatever the situation is, please give me a call." He said, Man, you know that's right, cuz." And so David left. We hung up. I should say, we hung up. I have not heard from David, not even today. I have not heard from David. Now, what I think is this, that Neil Brennan is a question mark, 100%. A question mark. I believe that David went there, and they discussed once again about the 50 million. And I believe Neil Brennan was somewhere in that office. I believe he was somewhere in that office. And then they told, I'm believing that they told David that they wanted him to see something. Just like they did Bernie Mac. Oh, yes, indeed. They took Bernie. Let me stop on David for a few minutes. But they showed uh, Bernie Mac the cloning lab, and they showed Bernie Mac the cloning lab, and he went down and he saw how people were being cloned. And when Bernie Mac came back and told uh, Steve Harvey and E.L. Hughley and a few others, and that he saw the cloning lab, and that something had to be done to stop that foolishness of what they were doing. Well, Steve Harvey and E.L. Hughley went back and told top brass of the Illuminati, the dog circle, in the dog circle, and what they did, they killed him. Okay, so now let's go back to David Chappelle. I'm truly believing that they told David they had something they wanted him to see. And they took David to the underground cloning lab. And when they took David down there, and I think that I'm believing that before they took David down there, they promised David that they would go along with his deal, with David's deal, to get him to sign the contract. And I'm believing that David, thinking that he would get back on the Chappelle show, working with Comedy Central, that everything was going to be all right. And I'm believing that David signed that contract thinking that. And when he signed that contract, they wanted David to go and look at something else. It could have been maybe telling him that maybe it was a new studio or something of some kind or what have you. But they got David after signing the contract, you can say in blood, and David thinking that he's just signing the contract because things were going to work his way. And then once he signed the contract, they took him someplace else, and the place that they took him to to the underground lab. And when they got him down there, they cloned David. And when they clone a person, and I want you to do your research, it's not like cloning is not like when a woman gets pregnant and they either inject her or for her to have a clone or the baby girl, however that goes. It's not like that. Cloning today only takes a couple, maybe to several hours to be cloned. Well, this is what I strongly believe they did to David. They took him to this underground lab. And what they did, they just smiling in his face and just going along with David. So that David would not heal up or fight or this sort of thing. And they cloned him. And once they cloned David Chappelle, then they killed David Chappelle. Okay, and once they killed David Chappelle, that was it. Now they could do anything. It only takes a few hours to do this. And once they did this, then they had full control of this new Dave Chappelle. Now, some of you are thinking that when David first met with the executive, he signed his name in blood. I'm telling you all, no, he did not. When David first met, when they offered him the $50 million, no, he did not. No, he did not sign his name in blood. And I'm wondering if he signed his name in blood, even with the second time he met these executives. Because now, if David refused on the first time, and he told me that he was finished with him, and then he told me that, the only way he would go back, and I always believe, because David had no reason to lie to me, his wife, or his mother, or any of his family. So, but now, when he went back the second time, and I believe David refused, but they had to clone him, and then once they clone him, this is what I'm thinking too. Maybe this is a second phrase that maybe I'm thinking of. That when they cloned him, then they got the clone to sign David's name for not only 50 million, but the 60 million as well. Okay, and so this new person that you see out there. Well, let me say this: I had not heard from David when he was supposed to have met with the executives the second time, and Dave promised me and assured me he would call me to let me know the outcome. I have not heard from David since. When I turned my television on and I saw this man there on some kind of show, and he had one pants leg rolled all the way down, and the other one rolled all the way up, and they said this was Dave Chappelle. I said, Dave, who? And I went to the television, and I looked, and I said, hell no, that ain't no Dave Chappelle, or no Dave Chappelle, no, hell no. And so I got on the cell phone, and I called my cousin David. And I called, the phone rang, and it rang, and it rang. I think it was maybe on the fourth or fifth ring that someone picked up the telephone and said, hello. I said, yeah, let me speak to David. And the person on the other end said, who are you? I said, I'm David Chappelle's cousin. And the phone clicked. It clicked. It went dead. So I called the number right back up again, and the phone rang, and it rang, and it rang. I never got in contact with David. Now, I called David's brother, William. Didn't get an answer from him either. I don't know what had happened, but I didn't get an answer from him. But when I saw this man on television with one pants leg all the way down and the other pants leg rolled up, I knew damn well that was not my cousin, not my Uncle William's son. Hell no. And when this new Dave had his pants leg rolled up, that was a symbol of the Masons. Now, David Chappelle was a practicing Muslim. My cousin Felicia, she's a practicing Muslim all the way. You see, David has children that has Muslim names. Now, why would all of a sudden this David turn from Muslim to Mason? It didn't add up. Okay, and then when they began to show this new Dave pictures of him, and I knew doggone well that wasn't David Chappelle because now if you look at the old, I'm going to show some pictures on here that with the JT anti New World movement is going to show pictures on here. I should say you're going to see the old David of in 2016, and then in maybe a year before, and you're going to see the old David Chappelle, and you're going to see the new Dave Chappelle, and you would then look at the comparison. Now, the old David, you know, his eyes, David had, you know, semi big eyes, but his eyes were more slanted and bulged out eyes. And David and I, we always talked about his weight. And I was, Dave, you need to get, they said, no, because I don't want to be big. I want to stay small. I said, well, why? Because I can run fast. I can do things fast. David never believed in being a big, husky type person. No, this new person here today, they have him as a big, husky type person, like a bodybuilder. His eyes are budging out of his head. His neck is as big as one of the wrestlers' necks on the WrestleMania. You see, that's not, I'm telling you, you all can believe what you want to believe, but I know what I know. The family, the Chappelle family knows this. This is not our family member. This is not my cousin. And sure, his birth name is David because my uncle's name, Uncle William, his name was William David Chappelle. Okay, so William, his son, is named after Uncle Williams, but David was named after the middle name of my uncle. And so now, so people would call him David, and some would call him Dave. It didn't matter. David would answer to David or Dave. But this new Dave that they have out, it looks nothing, nothing like the old David Chappelle. Um, David would, when David was the old David, he would have like a mustache. The new Dave, they have a mustache, but a slight mustache, but it looks like it's painted on his face. It's not it's not the mustache that the old David Chappelle, have on. I mean, had. And so, now when they did David, made him a clone. This is the thing now. They knew that his wife and his children and his mother would know the difference. If they had, once they cloned David Chappelle and sent this new Dave back home, they would know the difference. This is not my husband. This is not my father, and this is not my son. So what they had to do, then they made threats to David earlier about taking out his wife, his children, and his mother. They told David at one time, this was all after they asked David to quit smashing on the black race as far as the character that he was playing on the Chappelle show. And they told David, too, that if he didn't stop, they would take out his mother, they would take out his wife, they would take out his children. And so now they knew that once they cloned this Dave or David, whatever you want to call him, but I know him as David, that once he goes back to Ohio, the family would know that this is not the man. This is not, no, hell no, that ain't my husband. Because then you have to go to, it's a man of Russia, Putin. When Putin is cloned too, whether you believe it or not, but you do your research and find out these things here. And when Putin was cloned, his wife said, when they send him back home, she said, she got on in front of the cameras, she told everybody, this man is not my husband. She said, no, this is not my husband. This is a different man. and she saw the difference that this man had brought forth. Well, she was beginning to run her mouth a little bit too much. So what did they do? Not They didn't do it until Putin's wife was going to divorce Putin. And so what did they do? They they um, they cloned her. They cloned her. And now, if you ask her if Putin is her husband, she'll tell you, yes, that's my husband. And if you do your research on it, you'll find statements and bulletins that where she said at one time, that's not my husband. I don't know who this man is. This is an imposter that I'm living with. And, do the research and find out what she's saying. And so they figured if they sent David back home to his wife, his children, and his mother, they would say the same thing. So they had to do something. And so what they did before they sent David back home to his family, they cloned his wife, Elaine, they cloned his children, and they cloned his mama, my aunt. And they cloned all of them. And so now they were able to send David back home to them. And they don't know the difference. And you know why they don't know the difference? Because they all have been cloned. They all have been cloned. And if you go to them and ask them of the things, that I said about David, they'll look at you and say, no, something is wrong with her. She's, and they'll say this. Well, naturally they'll say this. So like they did with Princess Diana. Princess Diana knew so much. And but what did they do? They cloned her. Well, see, the brain part of Princess Diana, the original, came into the brain of the clone Diana. And so the clone Diana, as you know, Princess Diana, the original one, she used to crawl all the time. You do your research now. She used to crawl all the time. She would wipe away tears and this sort of thing. And so the clone Diana did the same thing. And Queen Elizabeth had taken this so long, so much, and they were unassured if the clone Diana would take on the concept of the original Diana by going and telling the things that she knew that the original Diana knew. So what did Queen Elizabeth? And she didn't directly do it, but she had to order sit down. And so what did they do? They had her killed in a car accident to kill off the clone. So there will be no more Dianas to speak of. And so that's why they cloned David's wife, mother, and children, because they knew that David loved his family. And it wouldn't look right for David and all of his family to just all of a sudden, especially his family to die or something of that nature. So they had to clone them as well. And they're living happily ever after as clones on the farm in Ohio, in Yellow Springs, Ohio. And so what they're doing off of this clone David, they're going to use this clone David to make money off of. Oh, they're going to push this clone David. They're going to push him and push him. They're going to make so much money off of him until they can't make enough. And once they have made enough, then they're going to kill off the clone. But you see that if you compare, you listeners out there compare the original David to this new David, the original David Chappelle made people, like this man, the original was funny. I mean, he was funny. He would tell jokes to me and I would just laugh like that. But now this new clone, he's not as funny as the old David is. There are things that the old David did that this new David doesn't even do. He doesn't. Listen, but you have to listen closely to this clone's voice. I'm telling you, listen very closely. This new clone does not. I picked it up and several other Chappelle family members have picked it up. This new clone does not have the original tone voice that David Chappelle had. You see, does not have it. And then this new clone has David Chappelle's brain, his mindset. Now, David Chappelle And I do believe this with my heart and my soul. Because as I stated before, David and I, we were very, very close. I knew every gesture, every word that David would say. Sometimes I would say something and David would finish it. David would say something and I would finish it. The many times that David would come to the different cities or states and do his comedy shows, even at the comedy clubs, I was there. I was there. The time he came to Washington, D.C., because I'm in New York, I live in New York, but the time he came to Washington, D.C., they called me and told me to come on down to the Warner Club. I was there. And if you get the video, if you get that video of David being at the Warner Club in D.C., David will tear you on that stage. I have family members in the audience. Well, you know who that family members was? It was me and my damn family. And after the show was over, I went behind the stage and I talked to my David, my cousin. You see what I'm saying? So I do believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that David, when they cloned David, David was fighting all the way. I mean, he was resisting, and they didn't inject him with anything. No, if David signed anything, if David signed a second contract, it was because David was believing, because he said the only way I'll redo the Chappelle show is that things have to be the way I want them to be. The funds will have to go to the people. He said it on Oprah Winfrey, and he said it to me. And so they had David thinking and believing. I do believe that's the way it would be. And to get him down, and to not get him down, but to take him to the underground, the underground cloning lab. And once they got him there and David saw what it was, David wanted to get the hell out of there, but they held him against his wishes. And when they held him against his wishes, that's when they put him in the cloning lab thing or whatever they put him in, and that's when they cloned him. And once they got a replica of David Chappelle, then they killed the original David Chappelle. They killed his ass. But they knew they were not ready to send him back home to his family yet. They knew they had to do something with the family to make it believable that the one that they were sending back to them was the original. This is how these people work. I'm telling you, and I know what I'm talking about. And because David, David was a funny man. He didn't have many friends. After he thought about his life, David didn't have many friends because the friends that he had, they turned on. And I truly believe that was that Neil Brennan turned on him for the things that he said, what Neil Brennan said about David. And that was David's buddy. You see what I'm saying? And that's how it is in the show business world. And so when you look at this new being on television, and the man not even funny, this is not the original David Chappelle. You all go pay money to see his shows, and the money that you're paying is not going to David's family, because David's family is a bunch of goons. You're paying money to the Illuminati. That's who you're paying the money to. And so David's if this David's not even funny. His jokes that he tells, and I try to, you can't laugh because the man is nothing like the original. He doesn't, and if you listen to the tone of voice, he doesn't even sound like the old original David. And it breaks me to my heart because I know now that and I haven't received another phone call from my cousin David. And it breaks me to my heart that I will never receive a phone call from David. We'll never receive another visit from him. You see, and it's sad. It is really sad. When David, he found himself. He wanted to get away from show business. And he said the only reason why he would come back to do the Chappelle show is that he would have to do it his way. And these people, whomever they are, they made him believe, Dave, and I'm pretty sure it sounds convincing. They made him think and believe that this is the way we're going to do it. We'll do it your way. And because they had all intentions of taking Dave out. Just like they did Martin Lawrence, just like they did Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac. And there are other stars that they have taken out. You see, and we think that they have died just in their sleeps, or they, or something of this nature happens to them, or something of that nature happens to them. You see, or they're one way before, and then they come back after a certain period of absence, and they come back a different way. This David has no soul. He has no spirit. Sure, he can eat and drink like and like you and I can. He can drink like you and I can. He can bleed like you and I can. But the thing about it, he has no soul and no spirit. He, these type of clones are called synthetic robotoids. And that's what this new David Chappelle is. He's a synthetic robotoid. That's what Britney Spears is. That's what all the other of these singers and actresses and comedians, that's what all of them are. They have warned each and every one. They have told each and every one of them, each and every one of us, how they hate they got into the business. Kanye West has said the same thing. Kanye West has spoken about how he gave up his mother as a sacrifice. How how the business is. He has told us about that. Britney Spears and I could go on and this, but there's so many. You see what I'm saying? But David, he tried to tell people about the business. When from the time that he stepped out of the executive office of the torture and what they put upon him and what they said to him, it scared him so bad that he had to get away. And that's why he went to Africa. That's exactly why he went. When he went to Africa, he had not signed his name in blood. So all of you who saying that he did, stop it. You stop it because he did not sign his name in blood. I know. I talked to the man even after he came out of the meeting with the executive. I talked with him, and I could also tell you, some things that how I really, really know of how he talked to me about the things that went in meeting, with the executive. But I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that because that's why I'm keeping my voice anonymous because they'll come after me too. So they'll come after me. So I'm not going to go into debt as to the things beyond our conversations that David and I had, or the meetings that we have had, or the dinner talks, or the little drinks after, that we've had. I'm not going to do that. I have pictures of me and David together, and David, my uncle William, and the rest of the family members. I have pictures of us at the family reunions. I even have pictures of the times that I went to David's show, and him asking me to come on down, cuz I have pictures of that. You see, but I don't have to prove to you because I know that the same blood that David had running in his veins and in his body, the original David is the same blood that I had. We were first cousins. This new clone that's out there is nothing to me. He's not my cousin. I don't know this person, so he's nothing. My Aunt Yvonne, no, none of them people on that side it means anything to me anymore because they're all clones. Now, you can believe it, you can accept it, or you can reject it. But I know what I know, and it's a sad thing because now I know that I will never receive any phone calls. I will to tell me or to ask me, cuz come on down. I will never laugh again, especially from him. And there's a whole lot of things that I will be missing out that comes directly from David to me. And so you all out there, you made your own thoughts, your own theories, things on YouTube or wherever you have it at, that you can put together the pieces of what you think that David did, the pieces that you did. No, sweetheart, I know what David did. And because David, he let me know all the way up until the minute. And he was supposed to call me after the second visit from the executives. And Oprah Winfrey, I'm telling you, Oprah Winfrey, Al Sharpton, Whoopi Goldberg, and there was a few others, and Al Sharpton, I said Jesse Jackson, and did you know that, and let me tell you this too, David told me this too, did you know that David and my Auntie Vaughn went to a theater one day to see a movie, and when David told me that his mother, Auntie Vaughn, had went to the bathroom, and then Al Sharpton came up to him and told him that he didn't like what he was doing, that David was doing and betraying the blacks on the Chappelle show. Did you all know that? No, I didn't get this. This is what my cousin David told me. And he told me some other things too that I'm not going to go into details about because, like I said, this is why I am keeping my voice anonymous because they'll come after me. So there are a few things I can say and a few things that I can't say. But I do know what a fact, 175%, that the man that you see on TV as Dave Chappelle is nothing but a robot toy clone. That's all he is. He has no blood running in his veins. Oh, yes. Cut him. Oh, he'll bleed. But it's not the blood like David Chappelle had veins all over his body. And this man here, his jokes is not funny. I want no parts of this new clone. And I found out that this new Dave Chappelle went to the White House. Now, David Chappelle never, ever went to the White House. Never, ever been inside the White House on the White House ground. Now, this new clone is at the White House. He's hanging with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. He's there, here, everywhere. The old David didn't do that. The old David didn't do that. That's why he bought the farm in Ohio, to have his freedom, to have his privacy. Sure, when it needed be, yeah, he was around certain of the people that starred on this Chappelle show. Then David was crazy about Charlie Murphy. Yes, Charlie Murphy was another one of his buddies. Now, this new clone David killed Charlie Murphy, had Charlie Murphy killed. Believe what I'm saying now. This new Dave Chappelle, this clone, made Charlie Murphy a blood sacrifice. This new clone. Why? And why? Because it has to continue to be money coming in. Now, I talked to Charlie Murphy on the telephone too. Not in length like I did with my cousin David. But there were times when I would talk to Charlie, little cuz, how you doing? So, I'm fine, Charlie, how you doing? I'm okay. I'm with Dave. I said, yeah, I see that you're with Dave. So, and each time that I would talk with him, his voice was strong. His voice was strong. And, asked him how he was doing, this sort of thing. And like I said, I didn't talk to Charlie Murphy like I would with Dave. And there wasn't no constant talking to Charlie Murphy like I did with David Chappelle. But I do want to say this, is that this new Dave made Charlie Murphy a sacrifice. Because, and the reason why is because that you have to do it in order to go higher. And this is what they, being the dark inner circle, the Illuminati, had to have this new Dave Chappelle to do to go higher. So whether you believe this or not, everything that I've said to you is nothing but the truth. You have your own theories that you want to give, that you think that happened to David Chappelle, my cousin, or even with Charlie Murphy. You can think what you want to believe. But I'm telling you, listeners out there, it's sad to me and it breaks my heart to know that my cousin, a person that was in my life, his father and my father were brothers. And it hurts me to know that the we gave birth to, well, his wife did, is no longer here with us anymore. And they are perpetrating this new clone. And I consider him as a demonic spirit. That's all he is. And he's demonic. He has no spirit. To portray himself as the original and ongoing David or Dave Chappelle. So I wanted to come forward to let you all know the truth. Now, you can say, I'm just like Billy here on the JT um, anti-New World Order. I'm just like Billy. You can say what you will and may say about me. And as Billy said once also, you can call me crazy and you can call me this or call me that. But you or no one else will ever erase the memories that my cousin David Chappelle and I had together. You can never erase that. You can never take away the pictures that we shared together at family reunions and and other places that we gathered together. You can never erase that from my mind. This new clone who's going around saying he's Dave Chappelle, you know, I I want no parts of this man. I want no parts of his family. Um, because they're not my family. I I don't care whether if they suggested that have to have him to call to have me to come down to one of his shows. I will not go. You're not going to get me like they got the original Dave Chappelle. I'm not going because see I know in my heart, deep in my heart, that this man is not the man that my Uncle William gave birth to. And so I'm letting you all know that Dave did not sign his name in blood when he first met with the executives. He did not. And I doubt very seriously if he signed his name in blood the second time he met with the executives. You all are saying this because this is all what you think. Dave was well enough to take care of his family, his wife, his children, his mother, and his farm. Dave was already taken care of. You see, but the only thing that Dave, he loved doing comedy. And he wanted to do something with his name included in it. And that was the Chappelle Comedy Show. And I believe he was tricked into doing the comeback, thinking he was going to do just that, to renew it, affiliated from Comedy Central. So you all can keep on flourishing with what you think that happened, and you'll never know the truth. Because do you think that the executives is going to tell you the truth? Do you actually think that? Hell no. These people have been lying for years. Listen to the stars. And listen to what Little Wayne has said. Listen to what Kanye West has said. Britney Spears. Nicki Minaj. Look at what Nicki Minaj has said. Just do your research. And listen to what these people have said about how they wish they had never, ever gotten into that. But you know something? You'll never hear this new clone saying that. But the old David Chappelle did. You'll never, ever hear this new clone speaking anything against the Illuminati. Oh, he'll talk about the Illuminati, but he won't speak against them. But David Chappelle did. He said it on the Oprah Winfrey Show. He said it on the studio acting stage to all of those young people out there who wanted to become comedians and actors and actresses. He told them that. You see, so you all continue to believe what you want to believe, but only I have the evidence. Only I know the truth. And some of that evidence and the truth, and I know the truth will stay in my heart until the day that I die. You see, and as I stated before, David Chappelle has a lot of Chappelle family. And majority of the Chappelle family are teachers. Morehouse College once was. We have a person right here on television today that's a member of the family. Sure, they may spell their name Chappell, but they're still a part. The roots come from the Chappelle family. The roots come from. And people are talking, the family are talking about this clown, CLOWN, this clown that's on television today portraying himself as Dave Chappelle. You see, one pants leg down, the other one rolled up. And he's portraying himself as a Mason when we all know that the original David Chappelle was a practicing Muslim. His sister, Felicia, is a practicing Muslim. His children have Muslim names. So all of a sudden now, he's a Mason. That's bullshit. And I hate that. I'm saying what Billy says. That's bullshit. You see, so um, you know, I'm so sad in heart now because my cousin David died, and he died the day he went into that executive office, thinking that he was going to get what he always wanted: the Chappelle show to be reinstated on his terms. That was the day that he died. And so I just come forth to let you all know the truth. You can accept it, as I said before. You can reject it, or you can believe it. I don't care what you believe, but we know who that man is on TV is not the man that my Uncle William helped produce. You can go ask his mother, Aunt Yvonne. Well, she's not even my aunt anymore, but you can go ask her, and she'll tell you, she's no, David has his own way. David has his own, and naturally, she's going to say that. Yes, she's going to say that because she's a damn clone. Her, the children, and his wife. They have no souls. They have no spirits. But they can eat like you and I can eat. They can drink like you and I can drink. So, I just wanted to, like I said before, I'm getting tired, man, but I just wanted to come forth and share this with you because I have heard so many theories, that so many people giving this side and that side and this side and that side, and there's only one side to it, and that's the side that I know. And like I said, I have some things now, but this is why I'm keeping my voice in anonymous, because they will come after me. They will kill me. Yes, they would. They would kill me. They would kill me. And if they knew what I knew, that I knew for a fact, that this clown, CLOWN, is not my cousin, David Chappelle. If they, I know what I know. So I just, like, once again, I'm going to get finished with this. I just wanted to let you all know. And so stop your theories. Stop the make-believe. Stop saying what you think could happen. Or he signed his name in contract with, when he left the executive office, and, David, he needed money, and David, no, he didn't. All the shit that you're saying is not true. And I'm not saying this because David and I, we were close, or and the fact that we're cousins. I'm saying this because I know what I'm talking about. And I can bust your eyes and ears open with knowledge. I better not go too far with this. I better not go too far because I don't want to tell everything, but I know. I know. His wife doesn't know. I know. His wife probably would have known, but I know because now she's a clone. And the children, and David had a beautiful little girl. And I'm not going to tell you her name, but he got Muslim names, his daughter and his two sons. And she was the most, she looked like Elaine, but then when you really look at her, she has David's features too, and his sons did as well. And David loved those children. He loved those children, and he loved Elaine. But today, David doesn't even see them half as much. This new Dave doesn't see them half as much. Why? It's because they don't have the soul. They don't have that spirit like David had for his wife when he was yet alive. You see, when you're alive, you can love. When you have the blood running down your veins and you have that soul, you can love that person. You can love that wife of yours. You can love that children. And you don't want to spend time away from those children and your wife. You can love that mother. You don't don't want to spend time away from them. You want to do your job and come back home to your family because you love them. This new Dave is not going to do that. He can't do that because without a soul, without a spirit, without a heart warming blood in your body, how can you feel that way? You can't feel that way. And they don't feel that way towards him. But just go back and listen to the old original David Chappelle and what he said about his family. This man was crazy about his wife, number one, his children, number two, and his mother. And go back to the fact of what he said about Uncle William, his father. Uncle Williams was the turning point in David's life. David could go to him. Sure, and there were some times when David, we were all young, and David, he was a little smart, aleck kid, this sort of thing. But David was crazy about his father. Uncle Williams would just sit back sometime and look at David, and not only at David, but at his other son, William Jr. too. Those are my boys. And he was crazy about his daughter, his youngest daughter, Felicia, who's now a full-blown practicing Muslim. You see, but today, this new clown, C-L-O-W-N, will never, ever feel that way about his wife, children, or they can try to pretend, but they can't, but it's not. Look at, I want to say one more thing, too, before I get ready to go. We have the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. And we have his wife, Melania, whatever her name is. I can't pronounce it correctly. But now, Donald Trump is a clone. Oh, yes, he's a clone. And his wife is too. But when you see them two together, they show no love. He doesn't show the love for her like Obama showed for his, for his, him, but let me put it, Michelle. See, with Donald Trump, there's no love. When he kisses her, take notice of these things, people. When he kisses her, it's not the kiss of love. You see, when he holds her hand, it's not the holding hands of compassion. It's the holding hands and the kissing because it's the formal thing to do of a robotoid. So that's why you don't see any love, really a special love going from him to her and her to him. But they're acting like everyday people, going back and forth, up and down, this sort of thing. And people will say, well, those are human beings. But you better think about it, you see, and that's how this new clone, Dave Chappelle, and his wife, and his children, and his mother's going to be. They're going to go through a routine because it was programmed into their brain to be and to do what they're supposed to do to the ones that they call their spouses. See, even though they took the brain out of David Chappelle, not the brain actually, but the mind concepts of David Chappelle into this new Dave, but still they had to program him to do what was told of him to do by programming him. This is a robot toy. So you have to understand that. So, these people today, this new clone and his wife, Elaine, and their children, and the mother, Yvonne, you're going to go through the procedures as mother to son, wife to husband, and the children to father. But it's not going to be like the original. Like the original. If you go out buy a pair of shoes that was made by the original, and then to lose those shoes and go out there and get another pair that looks exactly like the original, but somehow or another they won't fit right. It'll be something loose on that new pair of shoes that's not affiliated with the original. They won't be able to walk right because it's not affiliated with the original. You will be able to tell if you just check it a little, check it closely and wisely that the shoe, this new shoe, is not the same as the original. And you people, if you have minds, you'll take notice of that. That's all I can say. But I want no parts. He's not my cousin. Yvonne is not my aunt. Elaine, she's not she's not David's wife, and the children as well. I don't know these people. Um, we're going to still continue to have the Chappelle family reunion. You know, he may come. They may give orders for him to come. I won't be there because there's still some in the Chappelle family that recognize this damn CLOWN as the original. You see, because they don't have the evidence that I have. They don't have the memory that I have. So, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you're not going to fool this damn bitch none of the time. See, I just want to leave you with that. So just continue on making your theories or making your thoughts as to what you think or what you think you know. But it all comes back to what I know and what I have to know for a F period, A period, C period, T period, that this CLOWN is not my cousin. So I just wanted to bring forth this, and I thank you, JT Anti-New World Order, for allowing me to be able to come forth to speak this. And I'm so sorry that to you and to your listeners, the listeners, that I have to be anonymous, but I'm going to protect myself as much as I can. So I do want to thank you, and if there's anything that I can do to in the future to help you out or to let you know what's going on, please feel free to call me again. So to all of you who are listening out there, make your replies, say what you want to say, but just know one thing: I am the original. I am the original. I have blood running up and down my veins. I have a spirit. And I have all the memories and all the evidence of what I know and whom I know of the original David Chappelle, my first cousin. Good night.
Crazy stuff, my people. We'll get into this next time. Truth Hour out.